Hello, it's Nikki Thompson and good morning. I am just going to quickly share this video. So if you're watching the replay, I just want you to pop in #replay in the comments below and let me know your takeaways. If you're watching live, thank you and good morning. Give me 2 seconds. I really don't know how to share this without actually being without actually going onto Facebook. So let me just do that now. I hope you've had a beautiful morning. I was up early. I'm always up early. And so my dogs are always up early as well, but I woke up before my dogs, which is quite a surprise for me. And quite a morning treat because when I first got my puppy, she was like there waking up at 5:15 in the morning, or even I think it was 4:15 on occasions as well. So those were a little bit too early for most of the stuff that I like to do in my morning. So anyway, welcome, good morning. I am Nikki Thompson and I'm excited to be here doing this workshop today, the Devine Planning Workshop. Now this workshop is everything that I love to talk about. So I work with women who are looking to embrace more of their feminine side, more of their sexual energy, more of that whole listening to their intuition, their gut. And that side is important to me because we're often taught not to do that. We're often taught to really be in our masculine and to kind of stifle that side of us and our sexual energy, our intuition, our gut self. That all of that is our creative energy, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, and how to plan from that state, planning in a very different way to what you're probably used to. And if 2020 taught me anything, it's that we've got to start doing things a little bit different if we want to have a different life. So I'm going to be sharing how I love to do it and how I even got to this point. So my story is a little bit probably pretty typical to most women. I grew up being the good girl, always doing the things. And if you don't know who I am, then I'm going to share a bit more of my story on social media as well. But I was always the good girl. Like at school, I was the good girl. I, finished high school. I went and got the degrees. I went and bought the house and got married and had the kids and did all of the things that were right because that's what I thought I was meant to do. And the whole time I was very much in my masculine self. I didn't know this back then, but looking back, I was very much in that masculine side of let's just do things. Very type A personality. I just wanted to hit as many goals as possible because then I would feel loved. I would feel successful. And I really locked down my feminine side because back then when I was a teenager, I really... I have always prided myself on my mind, on my thinking, the way I think. And I thought that being overly feminine would mean that I would be stupid, like that people would only see me for my appearance and not for my mind. And so I was really scared to kind of tap into that feminine side of kind of getting dressed up. I had a very negative belief around what it was to be very feminine. And you might have experienced this too. Now, as you're joining into the live video, I would love for you to pop in and say hi in the comments below. Let me know why you're here, or even just let me know where you're at the moment, where you're from, because I would love to know where everyone's joining in from. So I was very scared of being in that feminine side, and that only grew as I got older. So when I was growing up, I was very much scared of the feminine, very much embracing the masculine, very much just like do. Let's just get all of this stuff done. I'm going to tick off all these things on my list of things I want to do in my life. And the feminine side of me, the fun, the pleasure, the flow, that was just locked down. Hi, Rose from Miami. Thank you for joining in. And I felt as though as I grew up and became a mum, that masculine side was even more intense, that very much planning and really much... Oh, hello, Tessa. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Tessa and I used to work together. There you go. So the masculine side of really planning everything in intricate detail, it only increased the intensity of the way I planned and the intensity of that need to control everything as I became a mum. And there was no room for pleasure or fun to kind of pierce through that layer of control. And so as I became a mum, it got more and more intense. And I shifted even more from my feminine. And I always thought that when you became a mum, you kind of became more feminine. But that was not my case. And I know it's definitely not the case for a lot of mums I talk to, because we feel like we're so out of control because we're never taught to be embracing our feminine. And what better time to do that than when you're becoming a mother? But that's why I see so many women in their late 20s, 30s, and 40s going like, holy shit, like, who am I? What am I doing now? Because we've been so much focused on that masculine side of doing things that we've locked down that feminine side, and we don't really know what that means. We don't really know who we are. We can't trust ourselves. We don't know who we are. And that was kind of the journey I went on. And so it was about 4 years ago, I stumbled across an orgasm challenge. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that now. And it's, whether you're into that or not is irrelevant. But for me, it was a massive shift because it helped me reconnect with my physical body through this orgasm challenge. And it helped me understand that my feminine self is actually the pleasure center. Like, and I'm not just talking about sexual pleasure, but I started to have more fun in my life. I started to be more appreciative of my body because of the pleasure that I could have with my body, the pleasure I could have with my body in terms of running around and doing fun things and not having everything intricately planned. And it was a huge, huge shift for me. So that happened around 4 years ago. And over that time, I've been like completely identity shifted, like massive, massive shifts for me, because I now can see the true beauty of the feminine side. There's nothing weak about her. There's nothing that needs to be held down about her. And when we bring the feminine masculine together, so much can be achieved and so much can be felt because we are not locking down an entire part of ourselves. So that is what the divine planning is all about, is when we go into how do we plan from that state, because we're all very good at planning from the masculine state. You know what that's like. You know, it's the SMART goals, the specific, measurable, actionable, I never remember what the R is, and then time sensitive. So it's very specific goals. You know, it's very much like, okay, I want to achieve this and I'm going to go bang, 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 bang. Very masculine. Every part of your life is usually intricately detailed and organized in that masculine state. Now, divine planning is different. And just because we incorporate more of the feminine, it's not only feminine. And that's what I want you to understand is the feminine is more about how do we tune in to ourselves? How do we tune in deeply into ourselves to understand our internal forces as opposed to planning from that external pressures? And when we tune into that, that's when we can start to plan from a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm going to show you how to do that today. And when we're in that masculine only state, everything is kind of, oh, I should be doing this. I should be, losing weight, or I should be achieving this much money, or I should be doing X, Y, and Z. Like, it feels like we should be doing all these things, because when we're purely in our masculine and locking down the feminine, it's like we're really absorbing external influences and we're not just focused on our internal influences. And that's what's really important about today's workshop. If you get nothing else from today's workshop, that is what I want you to understand, is that today we want to bring in that feminine. We want to tune into that feminine energy, and that is often disregarded. So I'm sure you've got an example yourself of where you felt like you're striving for a particular goal, and then you get there and you're like, oh, I don't feel as good as I thought I was going to feel. And it's usually because that goal often has a lot of external pressures around why you were trying to achieve that goal. For me, that goal was a marketing degree. I spent 3.5 years working on a marketing degree that I now actually use. But back then I had no interest in doing marketing. I didn't want to. I wanted to be a teacher. And yet it was going to be too difficult. And I had a lot of external pressures kind of being like, you got to get into business. You got to get into business. And so I did a marketing degree. And that, even though I achieved it, there was not that sense of like, yes, I'm achieving my passion, because it wasn't like that at all. I felt as though once I got to that point, it was like, oh, okay, what's next? And I ended up going back and getting my teaching degree. So I listened to my intuition, but it took me moving to the UK for a year and living over there away from external pressures of family and friends that made me decide to go back and do my teaching degree. And I actually enrolled and got accepted while I was in the UK, and came back and did it here in Australia. And so it was too expensive to do it in the UK, but I really wanted to do it. I was living in Cambridge, and what better place to do it than there? But international student fees are really high. So I came back and did it in Australia, and that was living from a place of the feminine. But it was dealing with that external influences. So I'm sure you've got a story yourself of not listening to your intuition, not listening to your feminine side. That is your feminine side. And just a little quick caveat here is that I interchangeably use sexual energy, intuition, gut, and feminine energy all the same. It's all about that side of ourselves. So I have got some notes that I just so that I know I've got everything covered. So it was really, for me, as part of my story, it was unlocking the real me, because I was able to bring up that feminine side. I was unlocking that part of me that I was so scared to bring out. I felt she was weak. I felt she was vulnerable. I felt she was too much, too emotional for the world. And this is something that we're taught from a young age. Girls, stop crying, stop crying. Girls should be quiet. You know, don't take up too much space. Don't say too much. You know, it was all of this kind of thing that I'd been taught, that the feminine me was too much. Like, it was too much for the world. And so it wasn't until I hit my, I was in my early 30s, that I realized that, hang on a second, this is part of me. And over the years, I've realized that this is me. And you become less, defensive. I've become less defensive about it. I'm super emotional. Those close to me will know that. Those who are in my outer circle probably aren't aware of that. I'm not like bawling my eyes out every second I'm out at the shops or, on social media. But I do share that vulnerable side of me, because it's the whole part of me. And that's what we want to do. We want to start to tune into that, embrace that, and plan from that space, because we want to have a life that is really ours. We want to have a life where we trust ourselves every single day. We want to have a life where we trust the decisions that we're making. And that is where we come to today in Divine Planning. So what is Divine Planning, essentially? So Divine Planning is bringing that feminine energy into your life. And it's not just in the feminine. We're not just staying in the feminine when we're planning, but we're bringing that part of us. So the whole of us is coming. And so we can actually listen to what we really, really want. For me, I had a deep issue with trusting myself, because I would feel like, oh my God, oh no, that's not the right decision. Oh my goodness, I can't make good decisions. Oh, what if this isn't the right decision? And I would just overthink, and I would take no action. And I wouldn't be able to trust the decisions that I'm making, because they weren't from a space of the real me. I didn't want to achieve this particular goal because it was from external influences, and it wasn't what motivated me. So the Divine Plan is kind of bringing that feminine in. And it's also, so it's bringing the feminine in. It's listening into what it is that you really want, what it's reflecting. It's reflecting on what's worked so far in your life, what hasn't worked, what do you really love? What would you love to see in your days? How can you make that happen? because it might be unreasonable. You might have unreasonable things that you want in your day, but you really, really want that in your day, but it doesn't fit into a typical SMART goal, right? So we're going to be talking about rhythms as well, rhythms of our days, our weeks, our months, our years. We're going to be talking about contexts. We're going to be talking about nature's cycles. So we're going to be talking about our period cycle, the moon cycle, and how can we fit all of that into our planning? It sounds really complicated, but today I'm going to give you a really good starting point to start to plan from this space. I do have a whole program on it, but I want you to be able to get started, because I always feel that this time right now at the end of the year in December, when it's like not quite Christmas and then all the way through to New Year, and you're like in this ball of like presents and food, and I feel like we have more time to plan, we have more time to think, we have more time to reflect, as opposed to waiting till early January and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm behind the ball already, and it's only the start of January. That's why I wanted to do this workshop today, so that you've got these tools to start planning during this beautiful phase of December. So divine planning is really, we want to try and let go of needing to dictate or have intricate planning for every single hour of our day. We don't want to have like every single thing all dotted out. So we're like, okay, there's literally no time for anything else. What we want to do is look at things differently. How can we embrace our rhythms? And so things are going to be different. We're not going to be planning every single day the same. We're not going to be planning every single week the same, because we want to embrace our natural cycles as well, and the moon cycle. So if you have a period cycle, then I would love for you to start tuning into that and looking at tracking that if you're not already, and understanding how that works, because every week is going to be a little bit different, right? Every day of our cycle is different. If you don't have a cycle, or if you're a guy, or you're through menopause, or you've kind of switched your cycle off for whatever reason, then you can use the moon cycle as one of nature's beautiful cycles, because that is super, super powerful. And that's something I won't go into too much today about how the moon cycle or our period cycle really influences us, but I will tell you a few key things to think about. So let me have a quick drink. Do you like my little mug, my little owl mug? I love my owl mug. Hello, Sarah. Sarah's joined us as well. If you're joining in live, I would love for you to leave a comment below. Let me know where you're at and where you are in the world, because I love to know where everyone's coming from. All right, so where do we start? We want to do this divine planning. How do we even do this? Because it's not going to be like sitting down, notebook, write, and, having planners and all that kind of stuff. We do incorporate that though. What we want to do is create some kind of ritual to tune into ourselves. Now, if tuning into yourself, or listening, or meditating, or rituals is new to you, then I'm going to give you quite the beginner's steps of what I do anyway. If this is not new to you, then I would love for you to do your own ritual, creating something beautiful. And you might get some inspiration from what I do as well today. But it's really important to have this kind of ritual. Excellent. Hello, Heather. I'm really excited to have you here as well. So my ritual is, I love beautiful things. So part of tuning into my feminine energy is beauty. It's pleasure. It's peaceful, right? So for me, my office, which is where I'm at right now, is all about beauty. So I love my timber bookshelf that I got made. It's quite a piece in my room. It takes up most of the wall. I have my indoor plants. That one's looking a little sad right there, but they're here. I have a beautiful candle, and I would love to show you, but I would burn my hand right now. I also have my crystal lamp, which is here. Oh, it's it's lit up. It's beautiful. It's got all different crystals in it, and it's in like this beautiful timber. This is my mini version, but I love this, and this is also part of my beauty in my office. My office is my space of my business, of how I coordinate my life, and I make sure it's really beautiful. I also have essential oils on. I've got more plants actually behind this camera. And then I also have I have a daily card that I kind of pull. I don't pull it every day because I don't remember to do that. But these are from Kim Morrison's 28. And it's funny that this is up. I ignite a fire within to warm my heart, recharge my body, and light my soul. So that was actually a card I pulled for December. So I've actually had that up the whole of the month. I then have my beautiful cup. You know, I have beautiful things. And so for me, that's really important. I also have my crystal, my smoky quartz crystal, which is all very, very much a grounding crystal. And so what I do is to help me kind of, that ritual is I set this all up. This is mostly set up all of the time in my office anyway, but I light my candle to signify that I am starting. Because sometimes I got into the habit of working too much. And so I actually light my candle when I'm starting work, and I blow it out when I finish work. And it's like this bookend ending, you know, my time here. So I will light my candle and I will tune in, and I will think about what do I want. I will start to daydream, meditate, and have a notebook and pen ready, and to be writing out what it is. Now, you can be daydreaming your big life vision for, 5 to 10 years time. You could daydream what you want for 2021. This time in 2021, where do you want to be? Daydream that out. You could daydream out the next month. It's up to you. I personally like to do, if I'm doing end of year stuff, I love to do a full year. This is what I do with my mastermind girls. We do a full year as like a skeleton structure, like what do I want? And then we kind of focus more on the next 3 months. So for me, what is it that I want? And how do I want that to be? What's really important to me? So I'm going to use my example of what happened for me this year. So this time last year, I was sitting down doing this exact thing. And I started thinking about what it is that I really wanted. I really wanted to take my kids away more. Now, financial reasons, being a single mama of 3 children, it's, I'm like, how am I going to make this happen? I really want it. Again, this is the unreasonable side where you could justify why it shouldn't happen or why it can't happen. But I was like, no. The feminine is unreasonable at the best of times. So think of all of the unreasonable things that you might be determining that's unreasonable, and it should probably make it even more into your calendar. So this unreasonable thing is I wanted to go away with my kids every single school holidays. How the fuck do I make that happen? And so I started thinking about that, and it started coming to me. Camping. I loved camping as a kid. Camping is quite affordable. I decided to get a camper trailer. So got a camper trailer, and that was not too expensive and can take my kids away. We have gone away. So reflecting on that unreasonable kind of idea as taking my kids away, I wanted to have a lot more adventures with them. That was the thing. Obviously COVID put a stop to that a couple of times, but overall we've been pretty safe here. We've been pretty good here. So we haven't had too many restrictions. But I've been away nearly every school holidays of this year, which is epic, right? Absolutely epic. Every single school holiday. In fact, I just got back from a week away with the kids last week, and I stayed in a cabin. And so how did that unreasonable goal make it into my year? It was like, that seems so unlikely. But I looked at it, I really felt into it, and I'm like, I really want to make this happen. And then you can kind of bring in that masculine side of like, okay, well, how are we going to make this happen? Whereas typical planning is like just being in the masculine. No, that's unaffordable. No, that's not going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. And it's really like, it's all about being realistic. And we never have our absolutely epic life when we're realistic. Another thing, I was sitting here at this time last year, I really wanted to be running a mindset, life coaching, business coaching slash type of business. And at that time, I was actually working, I was employed doing advertising, which was great. And honestly, it did not seem like that was going to be realistic either. But I'm like, oh, I really love doing it. So I started like blogging. I started doing some social media posts and things like that. I'd had an online business for 8 years before this, before I had the job. And so I knew what to do. That wasn't a problem. But I'm like, oh, it's kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, talking about all the mindset stuff and the coaching stuff, which is what I was doing with my private clients years ago, but it was all based on how to get them advertising and how to advertise their business. But we needed to kind of break through some limiting beliefs. So I started doing that. And anyway, things happened with COVID and finished up at that job and went full-time into my business, which was like, I did not know. I did not see that happening. I did not know that was going to happen, and it did. So all of these different things. So what I want you to do is to be unrealistic in your daydreaming, in your visioning, in your meditation, whatever it is that you're doing. Write it all down. Write it all down. Next, I want you to think about what is pleasure for you. What is really fun for you? And this is actually a really difficult question. I did a live an in-person workshop a few months ago, and all the women there was 10 women there. I asked them, what's pleasure to you? And no one could answer. No one had any idea, because we are not conditioned to incorporate pleasure in our day. In our routine, pleasure does not come into it. Is that productive? No, let's not add that into our routine. This is different. We want to add more pleasure into our life. And there's a really, really big reason why. It actually is super productive. So if you think about pleasure in this sense, so if you bought a Louis Vuitton, I can't even say it, a Louis Vuitton handbag, whether you like them or not, it's irrelevant. But, imagine a lot of people like these handbags. They're very expensive, several $1,000s. You're going to take really good care of that, because it's like, oh my God, it's so luxurious and beautiful and so pretty. And if you bought like a $10 handbag from Kmart just for practicality, you'd be like, okay, whatever. Throw it down in the car, let the kids play with it, touch it, whatever. I would not let my kids touch a, several $1,000 handbag. The Kmart handbag, no problem. And so there's like this level of luxurious about the handbag that makes us want to take better care of it. And that's what I want for you. You are the handbag. I want you to feel that luxurious feeling, when you're having a bath. Put in the good shit in the bath, the salts, the oils, the stuff. Get the good candle and light it. Wear the nice fancy clothes on a weekday or a weekend or whatever. Even if you're just going out for coffee with the friends, use the good cutlery and plates and all of that kind of stuff. You are the luxurious person in this scenario. How can you add more pleasure into your life? What is pleasure to you? And it's not just sexual pleasure. Incorporating regular orgasms, absolutely, I think is essential. But for me, like buying this cup, buying this mug, owls to me represent luck, prosperity, and abundance. That is me. And I saw this owl mug the other day, and I literally just randomly, things happen like this to me all the time. I got all this money put in my account for some rent. I was not expecting it. And then I see this mug and I'm like, of course, it's luck. I have owls throughout my house. That's just me. And you could have your own thing. Again, this is an unreasonable meaning to an owl. But again, it's that feminine side of me. So having my hot chocolate in my owl mug, having my crystals, these things are pleasure to me. Having a night every week where I just have a bath and do my nails and all that kind of stuff, that's pleasure to me. Putting on big fancy earrings and wearing my ring and my bracelet, that is pleasure to me, and I do that every morning. Even if I'm going to the took the kids and the dogs to the rivers yesterday, and I still wore it because it makes me feel pretty. So I want you to think about what is pleasure for you and how can you incorporate more of that into your life. Now we want to talk about nature's cycles. So we've got our period cycle. And if you don't have that, then we're wanting to look at the moon cycle. And there are different points of those cycles where we want to hibernate. We want to hibernate and stay in that space. We just want to do that. And that's usually during our period, a little bit before. We can be very creative, but we're wanting to kind of be in our own little space. And then middle of our cycle, we're like, when we're ovulating, it's like, yes, 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 I can do this and I can do this, I can do this, let's do it. You know, we have loads of energy. So looking at your cycle. Now for me, I have a fairly regular cycle, but it's not like, some months it can be 30 days, some months it's 40. It just depends. It goes a bit all over the place, but it's pretty regular. It's pretty regular in how I'm going to feel at different stages of my cycle. I've been tracking it for years, and this is something I would love for you to do if you're not already doing it. So whether you're tracking your cycle or the moon cycle, and again, you can just Google moon cycle and find out where it is, when it's the new moon, when it's the full moon. Even if you just track those two things, how are you feeling in those two spaces? The new moon is great for like reflection and planning, and the full moon is great for like, let's get shit done. So I want you to start like looking into that, and how can you incorporate that into your days? For me, when I have my period, I actually block out 3 to 4 days of not doing a lot. I might do a bit of writing, but I won't be going out lots. You know, for me, it's very exhausting. So I won't be planning like massive social events or catch-ups or anything like that. I'll be very much I'll be in my own space. So that's what I'll be doing during my period. So I want you to think about how can you incorporate that into your plan so that you've got a bit of freedom. Now, if you're working a full-time job, you know, perhaps when you've got your period or in the new moon, you block out a couple of evenings where you're not doing a lot, you know, where you kind of reflection, where you're just kind of chilling out and taking time to recharge, because when we do that, the rest of the month can be really, really on fire. Okay, so we've got our nature cycles. I want you to kind of be putting them into your calendar, and then we want to work in our rhythms. So before I go into that, I just want to take a quick caveat. So for those of us joining live, everyone who's joined live, you're actually going into the draw to win a $700 prize pack. So I'm going to draw that later today. So all you have to do, and you also get an extra entry if you share this workshop on social media. So you don't have to be, you won't be on live when it's drawn. I will message the person that does win the prize. But if you are live, you need to just put in I'm here or something like that, or any comment. That if you've already left a comment, then that's fine. I know you're here. Just so that I know that you're here, and then you'll go into the draw to win this prize pack. This prize pack is actually, well, I'll tell you a bit more of that in a minute, but it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. And you're going to be learning so much more about all of this and how to implement it day to day. It's very, very exciting stuff. So if you're here and you're watching live, you haven't made a comment yet, please just leave a comment just so I know that you're here, and you'll go into the draw. And yes, thanks, Heather. And you got an extra one for sharing, so I appreciate that too. All right, so just wanted to put that in as well for those of you who are watching but haven't left a comment yet. That would be awesome. Okay, so the next part, and this is the big bit. This is the big fun bit that kind of made a big difference for me. It's creating rhythms in your life. So how can you make, instead of being like routine, it's like, oh my God, I'm so bored. I'm so bored. And also some days when I've got my period, I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. So there's like having flexibility. There's a big difference, and I'm still learning this part, between I don't feel like it and I'm just being lazy. Like my body doesn't feel like it, or my head's just being lazy. Understanding the two, again, it takes trust in our body. And again, we're not taught that. We're not taught to trust our bodies ever. You know, as soon as we've got pain, there's a tablet, get rid of that. You know, instead of listening, oh, hang on, our body's trying to tell us something. So we're not taught to trust our bodies, and that's a skill that we have to continue to learn and embrace and tune into. But understanding the difference between my body needs rest or I'm just being lazy is really, really important. And I don't think I've, being really, really transparent here, I've not nailed that just yet, but I'm getting there. So for me, I create rhythms. So my morning rhythm is I wake up, I take the dogs. Well, first of all, I'll give you more detail, I guess. And this has just happened over time. And I tweak it on occasion, especially in the winter when it's super dark. I don't like going out for a walk in the morning when it's super dark. So I'll go a bit later. But, and also if I have my period, it's a lot slower. It's not, I don't have as many things in my routine or my rhythm, my morning rhythm. So I'll get up, I'll drink like half a liter of water. I'll then go get, the leads on the dogs. We'll go out for a walk. And then I'll come home, I'll do a bit of a workout, just a small workout in my office. I then go clothes off, nudie swim straight in the pool, love it. Even in the winter, I'll do that. It's very refreshing and fucking freezing, but you know, it's good. Then I'll get out, I'll make a hot chocolate, I'll sit down, I'll do some social media. I might do my morning video if I was on my walk. Now that I have 2 dogs, I can't do a morning video on my walk because they won't, it's just like they go in different directions. And then I will do some social media stuff. Then I will get the kids breakfast if they're with me that morning, and I'll have a shower, get dressed, do all of that kind of fun stuff. And then pretty much I'm ready to start the day. So if the kids going to school, that's when I'll like be making lunches, doing all that, chasing them around the house to get changed. But that's how I love to start my mornings. And it takes a couple of hours, and that's what works really well for me. Again, you need to think about what works really well for you, what's pleasurable for you. I have to walk in the morning. I just find I'm so much more awake. I also have hip issues from having my first child. Yeah, it was definitely my first one. And so if I don't walk in the morning, I just find that it can be a bit sore through the day. I also love my hot chocolate. For you, it might be coffee. You might not have a pool. You might be doing something different, whatever it is. What lights you up? What energizes you in the morning? Add in some pleasure to start your day, no matter what that is. Could be a daily orgasm if you wanted to, if you've got the time for that. I don't. I personally don't. Yeah. It can sometimes happen on the weekends though, if I've got a bit more time. Anyway, so I want you to think about your morning rhythm, and then I want you to think about your evening rhythm. In order to have this beautiful morning rhythm, I need to set myself up the night before because I need a lot of sleep. I need 8 hours at least of sleep at night. So I like to go to bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. So what does your evening rhythm look like? And it could be anything. I have to tidy the house up at night. I cannot. The dishes have to be done. The house has to be tidy. I cannot start my day the next day with it shit everywhere all in through the house. So for me, that's really important. What are these important things for you to kind of set yourself up with your morning and evening rhythms? And then they can change depending on your cycle as well. So embracing the fact that everything is not going to look identical from day to day, from month to month, that's really important. Creating a rhythm, it could change next week, it could change next month, but just kind of, I write it down so I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. My morning rhythm has been in the making for the past 20 years. I've always done elements of this in the mornings, and over the years I've just added more pleasurable things into it. And so there's no need for me to write it down. It's just, I know that that's what's going to happen. I know that's how I like to recharge. When I'm camping, it's a bit slower again. You know, that's really important too. So thinking about that, adding more pleasure into our life. So another element of divine planning is actually the planning. It's actually having a calendar. So I'm going to show you. This is December, but I'm going to show you January because I've already done January. So there's elements here. So as you can see, I've got little sticky notes, and each day, each kind of topic, I have a different sticky note. And so I've got bright pink is work stuff, light pink is self-care, and then we've got purple is social, so it's dancing. I love to go salsa dancing. Green is usually kids stuff. And then we've got different financial things. So when I'm expecting different money in. And then I also have like the new moon is in there as well. So I write in when the new moon is, where the full moon is. These are kind of things that I like to do. Now, I have a membership program called Ignite, and in that we do that all together every month. So we actually map out our following month and we get sticky notes. You can do that without joining the group. So I've just kind of shown you a bit of an example, but I just use these little sticky notes here, different colors, and I then go and stick them on. So I write down what are my big things that I have coming up. I usually do 3 months out, but you could do a month out. You could do a year out. I wouldn't do a year out personally because it seems really intense, but you can do whatever you like. And then I get these sticky notes. I map out my big things. So it could be a holiday. It could be a workshop that I'm hosting. It could be a program that's launching. It could be when school's starting for the kids. It could be the school holidays. I had little lines drawn on when the school holidays are. Whatever it is, put those on the little sticky notes and then you can move them around. Now, the beauty of doing that is you can then manage your energy better. For me, I get really exhausted when I have lots of things happening all in a day or even in a week. If I've got too many massive things happening in 1 week, I need to shift it. I need to reorganize it. So that's how I do that. So this is, I do the sticky notes. I'll stick them all on and kind of map out the big things for my month. And then what I do is I actually go onto my iCalendar. I don't use like lots and lots of things. I use my calendar on my computer, and I actually go through then every Sunday and map out what needs to happen in that week. And I'll start looking at what needs to happen for that week for personal stuff and also for business stuff. So that's what I want you to start thinking about, is what system are you going to be using to do this? So by doing the sticky notes like this, I can manage my energy. I can see that I've only got kind of 1 or 2 big things happening each week. This is a whole program that I'm running called the Vibe program. That's in January. I've got a workshop. I've got some promo stuff happening as well. But I've not got like a promo and a launch and a program all happening in 1 week. I don't do that. I can manage my energy better. But I also see here, school is starting this week and I've not put anything significant in that week because that's going to be big enough as it is. So I can kind of manage my energy by seeing what are the big things that are happening, and I can look forward to holidays, trips, workshops, and things like that I'm going to be running. So that's how I do it. I just get a normal calendar, get lots of sticky notes, and then play with it. So for you, if you're running a business, you could do this with things that are coming up. And then you might also, if you are working, you could put in significant things and manage your time better that way, so that you can also look into when the new moon is or when your period is and rejig things. Because I know when the new moon is, I've got a massage booked in that week because I know I'm going to be a bit like, I also have some dancing in that week because, and that's happening before it, because I know afterwards I'm going to be a little slower, and that's fine. The thing is embracing, like Devine Planning is all about embracing the feminine, the yin and the yang, the flow and the highs and the lows. It's like, instead of trying to be on all of the freaking time and planning every single thing in and being super productive 24/7, it's about embracing the rhythms, embracing the flow of you being feminine. And that's why I'm not going to give you, oh, here's my planner for the year. It doesn't work like that, because yours is going to look completely different to mine, completely different to your neighbors, and it's going to look different today as it will next week. So this is what I want you to really embrace, is that those differences and the flows of planning, divine planning. So just quickly checking in, if you are joining us live, I just see people popping in and out. If you are joining live, please leave a comment so I know that you have joined us today, and you'll go into the draw to win over $700 worth of a prize pack worth over $700. And I will be drawing that later today, and I'll message the winner as well as sharing it on social media. The prize is actually access to my newest program. So Ignite which is quite funny that it's called Ignite, because I had this card on my desk since start of December, and maybe that's what it's inspired me, I'm not sure. But anyway, Ignite Micromind is a group. It's a group program where where women come together, and it's all about women who want to do life differently. So every single month, you will have full access to the new program that I release that month. So every month I release a new program. In January, I'm doing a new Vibe program. In February, we've got the new Pleasure program. You'll have instant access to those straight away as soon as you sign up to Ignite. But you'll also join in the 2021 versions of both of those. You'll get access to the new program every single month, which is worth over $155 every month. We then have a weekly Ignite session. So at the start of the month, we kind of review what's happening in the coming month and kind of plan out a few things. We do hot seat calls. We also do celebration call at the end of every month. And we also incorporate the new moon, full moon energies into the month as well, so that you can start to understand what this is all about and start to incorporate this into your daily life. So we will go through more detail of how to plan like this, how to plan with your energies, how to plan with your cycles, how to plan your rhythms, your morning and evening rhythms, your weekly rhythms. And we'll also do a thing called context setting. Context setting is about, instead of trying to set massive goals and feeling like shit because you don't achieve them, we're kind of setting an energy or a context for the year. So you've heard of it, like your yearly word. What's your yearly word? That's essentially setting a context for the year. We'll do that every month, and we'll also do that every week. And you'll get used to doing that. It's like, what do I want to set for this week? So this coming week, or this week that we're in right now, for me has been connection. I wanted to connect with more women. I wanted to connect with my family at Christmas time. I want to connect with my friends by doing some calls this week and really connecting in with them, because my friends don't all live close by. So connection has been my context word for this week. And that kind of sets the tone for the week. So we'll be doing all of those things and bringing it all together. So today's workshop has been a sample of how it looks. I've given you a bit of a rundown of all of the different components. And in Ignite, we kind of bring it all together, and how do we do this every single day, every single week, every month, and do life differently. So Ignite is a membership. So it's a monthly or weekly subscription. Monthly, it's $111 per month to join up, but you can cancel at any time if you're not loving it. But we also have a weekly option. So that's $33 per week, and you get the same access. So again, you can cancel at any time. All you have to do is email me. So there's no kind of fear of like, oh my God, what if I don't like it? If you don't love it, you just have to email me. You can also cancel yourself if you want to as well. There's no I'm not going to lock you into anything. This is all about you coming in and really owning it. You coming in and being like, yes, I want to be doing life differently this year in 2021. This is what I want to do. I'm investing in myself to really make shit happen in 2021. So if this is you, I'm going to put the link after this video. I'm going to pop the link in the comments. You can send me a message with any questions. So we've got the monthly offer is $111. We've got the weekly is $33. But we also have a brand new upgrade offer. So if you want to join in, but you are needing kind of ongoing guidance, we have the upgrade, which is kind of incorporating one-on-one coaching through Voxer, which is like an app that we use. It's like voice messaging. So you don't have to have like a specific weekly call or anything like that. If you're struggling with something or if you need support with something, you can message me at any time. And so you get full access to that every month as well. And that upgrade is $255. So I am really excited to offer that because I know that there's going to be some women who want some more kind of one-on-one support, but they don't want to go up level into my one-on-one coaching. So if you are interested in any of those 3 options, I am super excited. Ignite is going to be something spectacular. I'm really, really excited. I still will have the individual programs available every month for those that aren't members, but Ignite will be open this week until the 26th of December. So Boxing Day is when enrollments will close. So if you want to join in, you've got until this Saturday. And it will be Australian time, so it'll be Saturday night. So I'll probably give those, if you are overseas and you want to join in, I'll give you a little bit extra time. But 26th of December is the cutoff for Ignite for this enrollment period. So I'm really excited. We're going to kick off on the 4th of January. We're going to have an epic planning session. Like we're going to be going into more detail, actually planning out. You're going to leave with your own plan for January. And a bit of a vision for 2021 as well. It's going to be amazing. As soon as you enroll, you'll actually get full access to the Vibe program and the Pleasure program that is already inside. It's already set up. It's already there for you to go and watch. And you can watch that while you're sitting on the couch. These 2 programs will change things, change how you see that feminine, masculine energy dynamic. They're epic. So the winner of today's draw will actually get 3 months access to the upgrade. So they'll get Ignite, plus they'll get the one-on-one coaching via the app. So the winner of that will get the Ignite plus upgrade option for 3 months. So they can really kick off the new year with some epic support. I'm really excited about that one. So if you are interested, you get an entry when you're watching this live, plus you get an extra entry if you share this with family and friends, even the recording. So you can share that, and I'm going to draw that this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Let me just write that down because I just want to make sure I don't forget. So I'm going to be drawing that today at 5 o'clock. So you've got all day to share it. And to get extra entries into the draw to win that 3 months access to Ignite plus the upgrade. It's going to be epic. So we're also going to have experts coming in on occasion as well to kind of share different ways of doing things. It's all about up-leveling your life for 2021, and I'm really, really excited. So before you finish, I would love to know any takeaways that you had from this workshop. If you have any questions, please ask me. You can send me a message. You can leave a comment under here. I'll keep checking these. I'm just so grateful to have you join in today. And I hope you have the most incredible day today. I'm just really excited. This was epic. So thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you later. All right. See ya.